Hello everybody, welcome back to MoMoVs The Bazaar, and today we have a bit of a different type of video, right? Today I'll be covering my top 5 favorite builds that I've been able to pull off thus far. I say thus far because I'm still, to this day, finding out new builds, new interesting stuff that I really do enjoy. And this isn't in any particular order, except for maybe the last one. A lot of these could be interchanged, it depends on what I'm feeling for the day. But more or less, these are some crazy builds I've been able to pull off. I have videos on all of these. If you're curious about a certain one, I can link it to you, yada huda. But without further ado, let's jump straight into this. And I think a safe pick to start off is port gaming. Ever since they changed the port back, I believe it's one of my favorite builds, right? You can start getting ammo items from any classes, and I'll kind of let a lot of the gameplay speak for itself, and I want to commentate on the highlights of it. But the general idea is the port items, with a diamond tier port, you start getting diamond tier small ammo items, and a lot of them are synergistic with each other. And I think the best ones, namely, are battery here and the haste potion. And then the windows are kind of the doors are open, right? You can do damage stuff, you can do burn stuff, you can do, whatever, there's sleeping potions. Whatever the game throws at you, you kind of try and make work. So here's just some example gameplays of these builds in action I do want to show. So a little freestyle here. So here we go. This is definitely one of my most busted runs. You can see the video title in the top left too if you're curious that way. So let's go. But not much beats it. Freeze on the right targets will do it, right?
My fight isn't with you.
Freeze the battery or the... Look at that Momo guy over there. What a nerd. This guy's a nerd.
I've seen my share of storms.
No freeze. Also a port gamer. Yeah, he's got flashbang. Flashbang's very good. You just have so many ammo items. Holy smokes, buddy. This run was super particularly busted in general. Because if you take a look at our skills down here, we have Diamond Fangs, Unwavering, Time to Tinker. So we have so much extra shielding. And then, of course, the most obvious outlier. Diamond Fangs is one of the most busted skills in the game. And it's giving 30% cooldown to our Diamond tier small items. Works so incredibly well with port since it's giving out Diamond tier items. Right? So, cool example there of port gaming. So, without further ado, my number 4 pick would be the Dam that Vanessa has, or the Eye of Colossus obliteration type builds. The idea behind these builds is they play so very different to your typical boards, and that's why I kind of I'm drawn to these and why I really enjoy these type of builds. Typically, the more obscure they are, besides a straight and narrow path of how to play it, the more I am inclined to like it. And, the Dam and the Eye of the Colossus play very differently because you're trying to blow up your enemy's items. Almost 8k HP with 57 regen. And we can take a look at how I do it here. This is where the fights get tough. Get real tough. So, Momo guy. Like to win today, of course. Wow, Vengeance upgraded. Uh-oh. Battery Pepper. Okay, we lived the first hit. He's got no crit. Boom. And just like that. We win! We win! We win! Look how happy that guy is. Look how happy that guy is. Yeah, and then the rest of the round is just this guy's watching their board. That's just absolutely destroyed. No longer relevant!
Yippee!
Let's move myself here too. Yeah, but Lighthouse is so bad, after everything is all said and done. Yeah, so this is something I harp on a little bit here. Shipwreck would be, and I think within the gameplay, I'm an idiot too, but basically, I'm trying to still find, the best items set up for Dam, because Submarine's pretty good. It kind of keeps you alive. It's a very low cooldown aquatic item. It doesn't get destroyed by Dam, namely. But also speeds up your Dam charge time. So Submarine's definitely good. Lighthouse is pretty good. Because it can go off pretty fast if you have a decent amount of slow triggers, to speed up your, Dam going off, right? Let's take a look at this board before everything happened. Yeah. So, especially this one is a Um, a lighthouse that's enchanted with slow, so it charges itself up. Normally 6-second cooldown, but it charges itself to like a 4-second cooldown. Plus, I have some skills here. But once your enemy's items get blown up, you kind of still have to win the game. Sometimes they do too much damage to you, and you can't like finish them off with whatever you have left. And lighthouse becomes pretty bad because you're no longer slowing your enemy's items if they're all destroyed. And then on the flip side of the coin, we have this was post patch, so this was super crazy, but the general idea still applies. Eye of Colossus,
something real good.
is really fun.
Blowing up the board and
If you have a ton of triggers and maybe
Winning.
they don't do anything, this time the triggers did a lot, but
yeah, all the charge. Like
yeah,
Post's the name of the
two
game.
patches, 3 patches ago, the game was in an insane spot. Like it was so fast. But slowly but surely, the Eye of Colossus here
By the
just starts tearing your board apart. It's super cool to see. So, you know, you have more of a win con here than the last one, more a pronounced one. But that being said, yeah, anything that you also have the Momosaur and Dinosaur, which I don't like as much. Like they're very disruptive and can be good, but I want to blow up all your items, and this is how you do it. So, yeah, shout out to these type of builds. That being said, moving on to our next pick here at number 3 is Proboscis and Femur. And I think you guys would be surprised if I didn't include one of the other here because at the core of my heart, I am a proboscis, however you pronounce it, enjoyer. They changed the item a lot through the patches, but they reverted proboscis back to its original state where it doesn't have an active ability. Last patch, it was like, you know, when you slow, charges 4 and just went infinite with itself if you enchanted with slow, and that was like not healthy for the game. But they reverted back, and you know, proboscis is back in its niche spot where people don't play it as much. 2 patches ago, people playing like insane, but I really like the build around that it's not an active item and it's a little bit harder to play around, but if you can do it, it's pretty strong. Let's take a look here.
More fun.
So now we really care
This is
about
a
the
fiery
initial
proboscis
hate for Lefty Lucy.
showcase,
And that's all we care about.
and still does a lot of damage, but as you can see, we're going against Dually with Fire Rebirth, like should be a very strong build.
Oh my goodness.
But
he
we have
fire
so
rebirth
many
as
slow
well?
triggers, it's like a machine gun. And the highlight here of Proboscis builds now is this bottom right skill. I forget the name of it. Slow and steady? No, slow and steady is the one that scales it here. When you slow scale damage. I forget the boss hero passive here. When anybody uses a non-weapon item, slow it by whatever amount, right? Doesn't matter. But the internal cooldown for Proboscis is so low that it fires off a ton of times. It's like a rapid machine gun. It's super cool to see. And meanwhile, it was scaling up its damage because of the skill right next to it. So super, super good. Vanessa has some of the best slow stuff in the game. Dock lines, and I think I had retool here. So dock lines was going off twice, and it's so fun to say. The machine gun happened. Yeah, we beat the Fire Rebirth dually here. And next up, we have a honorable mention in this one is the Femur. I think it's conjunction. You can definitely use them together, but the Femur, and in this particular game, you can see in top left, insane heavy Femur game. And this is definitely the most crazy slow build in terms of like using all the slow items between the neutral toxins here. We have a slow skill in the bottom left, again, scaling up our damage. In the Femur itself, in conjunction with Proboscis, it's insane. That's all I could say. It's super fun. I think the slow synergy is great.
Let's go.
Slow is powerful in general. It's basically like freeze sometimes because your opponent's items take twice as long to go off.
No, I'm a bit.
Oh, we get one win out of this. I'll be super happy. Jeez.
One win. He wants one win, guys.
All the right pieces came together.
Yeah, as you can see,
Look at that. That's crazy.
the damage scaling and everything else
Machine gun proboscis.
is insane. So Proboscis is doing a lot of damage. The slow trigger itself is like speeding up the femur, and the femur slows a whole bunch of items, so it charges us up a ton. If you can get the slow enchantment on it, it's a crazy time for sure. And yeah, opponent's items are slowed for forever and are not going off. So yeah, that is of course the Proboscis femur shenanigans. Number 2, I have a couple recent videos on this one. Is the atomic clock with the ability to give your opponent's items cooldowns. And this kind of follows the same logic of the board obliterator builds, you know, Iron Colossus and Dam. That they play so very differently than you're typically used to. Instead of destroying your opponent's items, even if they have Radiant on their items, they can still have their cooldowns increase. So it plays so differently because you're increasing the cooldown time of your opponent's items to hopefully have them not be able to go off like nearly as often. And off sometimes you increase the cooldown so much it'll go off like once per game, if that. So
That's
really
a lot
cool,
of haste triggers and
cool
stuff.
showcase.
We should have like perma haste on our board, hopefully, while slowing their items a decent amount. Shiny force field is actually scary.
He doesn't know what is. How does he get shield?
Scaling up armor core? How does this guy have this many wins with this board? That's actually incredible. Cooldown locker opponents. I
Yeah,
like
look
this.
at that. 17 seconds, 15.6
Wow.
seconds. Cool LED 70, yeah, 17, 15.5 seconds on the pulse rifle. Even the armor core is getting up there. The force field timer went from like what's force field timer normally 4 seconds, all the way up to 18.6 seconds. Are you kidding me?
18.6 seconds, 14 seconds, 15.5.
Yeah, and it's just so unique where your opponent's items literally don't, are useless.
So let's see.
It's primarily on Dooley. You can get the atomic clock on Vanessa, and Vanessa would take advantage of it, I think, better in general, because she has the options to get Powder Flask, Ramrod, which is pretty good now. Ramrod's exceptionally well with atomic clock in its current state, but it's a little bit hard to get because you have to roll, either find any item in a bazaar, or Pearl's dig site find it, or have like a Dooley shop offered to you, something like that. Wow, Dooley, all he has to find is a Vanessa ammo reload mechanic or some skill, which I think is a little bit easier in general because you can get Powder Flask or Ramrod, right? Obviously, from Vanessa the same way. So yeah,
We do it. Such a strong setup.
and as you can see, if you combine slow with this build, it's disgusting. This is devious.
Yes.
10 seconds, 14 seconds.
Yes. Yes.
Like, just pure
That's how
bliss.
it's done. That's
Pure bliss. So if I have this, and again, some of these builds are harder to pull off than the others. So if I have the option to go for these, I am taking every option to do this because if it works, it's super fun. Anyways, and at our number 1 build, and I think it kind of deserves a spot here. I cannot tell a lie in this case. We have the Frozen Flame builds, and this is one of the harder builds to pull off, but if you do, it's incredibly strong. And this one I'm going to talk about a little more in detail.
here's
I think I talked decent about it right here, so this kind of goes into the theory behind it. Okay, I don't see anyone do this at all.
We take out Micro Dave.
If I want to be known for something, it's this build or the Dooley double tap. Those are 2 things I want to be known by: Dooley double tap with battery force field, or this.
Throw this all here. Speed up Cryosphere. Because Rapid Thaw, our items
Rapid Thaw is very good.
get frozen for less. And we're going to burn. Hear me out. Hear me out. This is the coolest part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Ooh, that's what I want to check. Frozen Flames? Okay, I thought they buffed this, but they did not. Okay. It's still good. 8.
8 times 16 is 128 burn is going to get fired off as soon as this freezes all our items.
That's an insane number.
Cool.
And the beauty about this build is, what I'm saying there is once Cryosphere goes off, it's going to freeze all our items except for a core. And we're going to apply 128 burn on our opponents.
That's a good deal. And while everything's frozen, he's going to be dying to burn.
I may be
That's the
young
most
for
beautiful
it,
part, isn't it,
but I've
Momo?
seen my share
This
of
guy
storms.
really knows his stuff.
Uh-oh. Is this the one-shot build? Potentially. Let's see, he got
Look at
Fury
that.
blows, but he doesn't have alacrities.
Look at
Look at all this
that.
burn! Look at all this burn!
You've got talent.
That's so
You
good!
should put it
Tell me
toward
that's not
noble
so good.
And like that's a happy Momo.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. So yeah, this one I do want to harp on a little bit, but you know the theory behind this build is so cool. Obviously, I think Dooley takes the best advantage of this with Cryosphere. You can also do this on Pig, which I have been able to have the opportunity because there's items like Stopwatch, right? You can get it from a PvE encounter, or the Pig can just roll this at Gold Plus tier. And yeah, they're both 10-second cooldowns, Cryosphere and Stopwatch. Freeze both players' items for 1 to 2 seconds. Same idea with Cryosphere, right? Other than the core and a little more freeze time, but it is a medium item slot versus a small item slot. But also Dooley has the options to use battery or some way to speed it up. Usually with haste, has easier access to that. So that's why I think Dooley is better for the general. Although you can get Frozen Flames on any class, is a silver plus skill, and it's of course it's at its absolute best at diamond tier, but it is pretty decent at gold tier. Silver tier, it's tougher to make it a full build around. But you can make it work. It's just, you know, gold plus is pretty good. But yeah, meanwhile, I think I touched on it real quick, but like once you freeze all the items on the board, you're kind of at a standstill for however long that is. And what happens is you apply so much burn on your opponents while their stuff is frozen. And then you guys just sit there and wait while they're getting destroyed by your burn, not doing anything. And that is the beauty of the build. And of course, Rapid Thaw makes the build that much better for yourself if you can do it. But if not, you could still definitely make it work. So, without further ado, this has been my top 5 builds thus far in the Bazaar. There's still a ton of other builds out there that I really enjoy, but these are the 5 I want to showcase and are super fun. Anytime I get to pull one of these builds off, I'm having a great time. So, without further ado, if you got this far, make sure you like, subscribe, and thank you for watching MoMoVs The Bazaar. And this is a bit of a different video besides your typical gameplay. If you like to see this stuff, please definitely let me know down below. Is there anything else you want me to talk about on the topic of the Bazaar? Please let me know. I do enjoy theory crafting around this game and sharing some knowledge I have while also learning some knowledge. I asked you guys a lot of questions, and you guys have been very helpful. I feel like we are learning together. It is a very fun game. So, without further ado, I will see you when I see you. Bye-bye!